Hello everyone. In our session today, we will continue the answer of worksheet 1 in quarter 2. In exercise 39 to 42, as you see, the graph of the function f is given. We would like to select the graph of its derivative. Before I solve these exercises, I'd like to show the sketch of the graph of the derivative of any given parent function. Look here. At the left, I show you the graph of f of x. And here I'll show you the graph or the sketch of the derivative of the given function. For the first function, look here. If we have a constant function or the graph of the function represented by horizontal line, as you see, okay, that is the graph of f of x, okay? I have to remember something, it's very, very important. The derivative of function is the slope of the graph of this function. It means the slope of the tangent, okay? The slope of the tangent to a graph of a function, it means the derivative of the function, it means the slope of the graph of this function. So here, what is the slope of this function f of x? It is linear, so it is constant, 0. Okay, how we represent the graph of its derivative? I use a different color here. It will be for all of the values of x here, the derivative is 0. So when x equals 0, it will be 0, 1 equals 0. At any point, it will be 0. So the graph of the derivative of this function represented by a horizontal line on the x-axis. Okay, second function here, I give you some parent function, okay? If we have a linear function, okay? What is the slope of this linear function, m? It is a constant. It is a constant. The slope of any linear function is constant. But here it is positive value. It is what? Positive value. What is the sketch of a graph of the derivative of this linear function with a positive slope? Look here. It will be a horizontal line, okay? Because it means for all of the values of x, the derivative equal m, which is a positive value, okay? This horizontal line intersects the positive part of the y-axis, as you see. For all of the values of x, that is the derivative of this function. That is what the derivative of the given function at the left. Okay, for any linear function with a positive slope, the sketch of the graph of its derivative, it will be horizontal line intersect the positive part of the y-axis. Okay, another function. If we have the third function, which I'll show you, parent, linear function with negative slope. Slope here is what? Negative. It is also constant. Okay, I represent it by horizontal line, but in this case, intersect the negative part of the y-axis here. That is the derivative. That is f prime x. That is f of x. Is this one given? Okay. Third function I'll show you. Third function. That is linear. I show you the quadratic function. Quadratic what function? Okay, sorry, it must be quadratic. Wait a minute to draw this function clear. Okay, rub this one also. Okay. So that is if this one is given. Okay. What is the slope of that is f of x? As I told you before, the derivative is slope of the tangent. Okay. For at the 0, I'll show you how we sketch the derivative of the given graph of f of x. At the x here, we have a horizontal line, so the slope of the tangent here, it means the derivative is 0. Here, as you see, the slope of the tangent as x goes from 0 to infinity, the slope of the tangent will be little bit more positive, little bit more positive, little bit more positive, okay? And here it will be what? Little bit what? Less negative. It will be little bit less negative. What is the sketch of this function? Try to imagine the slope of the tangent here for all of x more than 0, that is 0, that is x-axis, and that is y-axis. Okay. For all x goes from 0 to infinity, the slope of the tangent, it will be little bit more positive. So it will be like this one, positive. Here, it means the y, the value of the derivative at 0, it will be positive values and become little bit more as x goes to infinity. As x less than x0 and less and goes to infinity, as x from 0 to infinity, little bit less, it will be less, become less. Okay, so by anyway, if you don't understand what I have explained, no problem. The graph of the quadratic function, if the graph of the given function is quadratic, so the sketch of the derivative of this quadratic function, which opens what? Up, is a linear function with a positive slope in this case, okay? Represent increasing. For the fourth function, if we have here a quadratic function opens down, opens what? Down. Okay, so what is the sketch of its derivative? The sketch of what? Its derivative. Look here, it will be a linear function, okay, with negative slope. With what? Negative slope. Okay, as you see here, the slope of the tangent here is what? 0. So at x equals 0, the derivative 0, because the slope of the tangent, it means what? It means the derivative. Here, as you see, sorry, the slope as x goes from 0 to negative infinity, the slope of the tangent, it will be little bit more positive, little bit more positive, little bit more positive. As you see, from 0 to infinity, little bit more positive. That is y-axis. Okay. As x approaches here x from 0 to infinity, the slope of the tangent what? Little bit less negative, little bit less negative. It will become small, and it goes to infinity. Okay. I hope you understand this one. Okay, let's see more function. Function number what? Wait, check number 5. For this function, some parent function, I show you the sketch of its derivative. If I give you what here, wait, cubic function, cubic what? Function. Okay, that is f of x. Here, for at 0, we have a horizontal tangent. So the slope here is 0. When x equals 0, the derivative, it will be 0. The slope of the tangent, it will be what? Little bit more positive, little bit more positive. And here, little bit more positive. And the same, little bit more positive. Okay. So it will be what? Quadratic function. As you know, or as I told you before in the previous session, that's the derivative of any the degree of the derivative function for any given function less than it by 1. If I give you function of degree n or degree 3, so its a derivative, it will be of degree 2. If degree 2, it will be degree 1, and so on. If it is quadratic, so the derivative will be linear. If the given cubic, it will be quadratic. Understand? So that is f of x. That is the sketch of the derivative f prime or the derivative of f of x. Okay. If we have this function, okay, this, sorry, I'm sorry. I'd like to draw it more accurate. Okay, wait. Okay. No, not the blue. What is this one? Okay. How to graph? I'm sorry. Like this one. Okay. How to sketch its derivative? So that is cubic function. That is y or f of x equal negative x cube. Here for x equal y equal x cube. For example, by the same way here, the slope of the tangent will be little bit less negative, little bit less negative, little bit less negative. And by the same way here, by the same way, little bit but anyway, if you don't understand this one, you have to remember this in this shape. If the graph of the function is given in this, if the graph of the function is given as in this one, or this question, or this function, I'm sorry, it will be quadratic function opens down. Opens what? Down. Okay. The seventh one. Okay. If we have like this function, that is f of x is absolute function, as you see here, f of x. Okay, for all of x from 0 to infinity, the slope here, as you see, it is a line, and both it will be equal 1, and here equal negative 1. So what is the sketch of the derivative? At 0, there is no derivative, and I tell you later why there is no derivative here at 0. Okay, like this one here at 1 and here at negative 1. Okay, the last one I'll show you as root function. Okay, root function as root f of x equal root x. Here at 0, as you know, we have a vertical tangent, and here the slope of the tangent, it will be little bit less positive, little bit less positive. It will, the steepness will be less. Okay, it represented by at 0 infinity, a little bit less, little bit positive less. That is the shape of the graph of the derivative of this function. This means if the graph of the function as absolute, so that is the graph of the derivative. If the graph of the given function here as root function, so the sketch of its derivative, it will be like this. Okay, let's continue the answer of the given sheet. But before I solve, okay, wait. I'd like to remind you by all of the function which I give you. If the graph of the function is horizontal, so the sketch of its derivative, it will be a horizontal line on the x-axis. It will be the x-axis. Okay. If the graph of the given function is linear with positive slope, the graph of its derivative represented by horizontal line intersect the positive part of the y-axis. Okay, if the graph of the given function is a linear function, okay, its slope negative represent the graph of its derivative represented by horizontal line intersect the negative part of the y-axis. If it is quadratic function opens up, it represented by a line with positive slope, as you see. And if it is a quadratic function opens down, that is the graph of the given function. That is, f of x. That is f prime of x, the graph. Okay, that is the graph. Okay, here it's represented by a line with negative slope. If it is, cubic function, if it is a cubic function, as you see in this form, so the sketch of its derivative, it will be quadratic function opens up, okay, opens up. If it is a quadratic function, okay, equal negative x cubed, for example, or it's a graph like this one, or if the graph of the given function, like like in case 6, so its a derivative, it will be quadratic function opens down. If the given graph, or if the graph of the given function, as you see here, absolute function, so it's the graph of the derivative, it will be like this one, root. So that is the sketch of the graph of the derivative. Let's continue the answer of sheet 1. Okay, here that is linear. I think all of you now understand or how to choose. I showed you the graph of the derivative of some parent function to help you how to sketch the graph of the derivative of the given function. If it is here linear, positive slope, it will be horizontal line intersect the y-axis. So this one, it will be B. Quadratic opens up, it will be linear with positive slope. That is D. Root function, as you see here, that is it's a sketch, which is what? A. Absolute, it will be the sketch of its derivative, it will be C. Okay, B, D, A, C. I hope you understand what I have explained. Try to watch the video well to know how we sketch the graph of the derivative, or how we select the graph of the derivative for sorry, to select the graph of the derivative for any given graph of function. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.